It's time for the League LowDown!
Yo, insiders, buckle up for episode 7 of the League LowDown. Week 9 of the regular season is hitting like a linebacker on a blitz with headlines spicier than tailgate chili. I'm your host, Coach Mayhem, joined by the knowledge master himself, Suburban One insiders, OG.
Yo, Mayhem, back in the office, ready to break down last week's chaos and prepare for this week's big events. Let's dive in.
CDS Wealth Management is a proud sponsor of the League LowDown.
Week 8 started with a Thursday night slugfest at Walt Snyder Stadium where Council Rock South edged Souderton 14-7 in a nail-biter. With 2 games left, the 7-1 Golden Hawks are soaring toward a Continental crown and the 6th seed in the 6A playoffs. Quakertown got back to 500, dominating Truman 47-0, with Kyler Rosner rushing for 3 scores. Friday night in Ambler, Upper Moreland and Wissahickon battled it out in the overtime. Evan Tomey hit Dom Harvey Shepard for a touchdown on the first possession, and Ben Hinchcliffe's extra point gave the Trojans a 28-27 lead. Upper Moreland's Justin Valentine ran his score in on UM's possession, but unfortunately, UM got a little bold and went for it for the win. I love that confidence, but Dylan Shanter intercepted their 2-point conversion to seal the victory for Wissahickon. Man, what a game.
All right, next we're going to talk about Lower Moreland. They fell to Sun Valley 41-14. In a high-scoring battle out in Buckingham, CB East went toe-to-toe with Neshaminy, and the Skins won 41-35. Mike Eckhart from Neshaminy threw for 243 and 4 touchdowns. This kid's having a great year. While CB East Hunter Pulford ran for 74 and passed for 124 with a score. Reigning American Conference champs P-Dub thumped Springfield Township 41-0. Injuries have hit the Spartans hard, showing why depth matters. New Hope Sudbury lost to Jenkintown 26-8. Cheltenham won their second straight, beating Upper Dublin 28-21, with Kendall Jackson throwing for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Panthers' defense, led by Kyle Montgomery's 2 sacks, took down Cardinal QB Lawson Tyler 4 times. Hatboro Horsham also won their second in a row, topping William Tennant 41-18, with Ty Teasley rushing for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns was, I think, 86 yards. I saw that on some huddle highlights this week. CB South surged in the second half to beat Abington 28-14. Colin White rushed for a career-high 133 yards and 1 touchdown. And Braylon Cape earned CDS Wealth Player of the Game honors with 213 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns.
On Saturday, North Penn shut out Pennsbury 20-0, keeping the Falcons winless in 2025. Bensalem crushed Council Rock North 43-7, and congrats to Bensalem's Aidan Mayfield, who became the school's all-time rushing leader with 2,953 yards. And in my game of the week, at historic War Memorial Field, Central Bucks stunned undefeated Pennridge 28-14. Man, the first half was definitely a defensive grind. Pennridge up going into the half 14-7 on touchdowns from Ryan Rowe and Nate Deerstein. But unfortunately, CB West roared right on back with Nick Miletto's 6-yard score, and then Josh George, the quarterback, hopped over the line for a 1-yard plunge. And let me tell you, man, game changer came when Mason Darrows scooped up the blocked field goal. All right, Pennridge went up, blocked the field goal. Kicker realized that it was rolling around. He picked it up, followed his lead blocker like he was taught, to keep that, he got the first down to keep that drive alive. Man, Louis Sapolo right after that sealed it with a late touchdown run to make the score 28-14. Coach Rob Rowan called Darrows' play game changer, possibly season changing. And congrats to Mileto, George, and Darrows for earning CDS Wealth Player of the Game honors.
All right, timeout, Mayhem. Let's hydrate and hear from our sponsors.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, CDS Wealth Management. Growing generational wealth through college and retirement planning shouldn't be complicated. At CDS Wealth Management, rest assured that you are more than a client. You are a foundation for a legacy to be built upon. Allow our team to cater to your family's legacy by starting with a free consultation at www.cdswealth.com.
Insiders, week 8's in the books, and I'm still buzzing about Bensalem's Aidan Mayfield smashing the school's all-time rushing record with 2,953 yards. Let's bring in the man himself, Aidan Mayfield, to talk about his milestone in this week's big game against Upper Dublin. Aidan, welcome to the League LowDown, bud.
Thank you for having me.
All right, bud. So you just became Bensalem's all-time leading rusher. How does it feel to etch your name into the Owls history books?
It's almost like a surreal feeling. Like ever since I was a kid, I just wanted to be the best person I could be, the best football player out there. If it's like almost crazy. Like I never thought I would be here, but just hard work, all of it's paying off now, and it's really showing. And people can see that hard work is over talent any day. I'm just gonna keep working, ready for the next level, and see what more football has to offer for me.
Amazing. All right. So last week you had a 197-yard performance. What was key for you in that 43-7 win over Council Rock North? And how's the team feeling heading into week 9?
Yeah, so all practice last week, we really wanted to focus on the little mistakes we messed up. Like we lost close games, like to Pennridge and South. Just key mistakes we were messing up on. We just need to clean those up. We really just focused. We were really great at practice last week. We had great practices, great energy. And as coming into this game, we knew we needed a win. Like our goal from the start of the season was to make the playoffs, and we're set on that. And I think we're gonna do that. I think we feel great going into week 9. We had great practice today, yesterday, and Monday. Tweaked some things that needed to get fixed, and I think it's gonna be a great game.
Awesome. Okay, so speaking of this week, you're facing Upper Dublin's Benji Rabbits, Justin Rowe. They're tough Cardinals defense this week. What's the game plan heading into keep the Owls playoff hopes alive?
All those guys are great players. We watch them on film a lot, really evaluate them, see what they're about. But I think this week we made some changes. I think some of the things we put in, they're not going to expect. And I think it's going to be a great game, and I think we're going to come out on top.
Awesome, man. All right. So, hey, as a senior leader, what advice are you giving out to your teammates to stay focused for this critical 6A playoff push that you guys are just on the cusp?
Yeah, so some of the younger guys, they're not too much experienced like we are. We've been here 4 years. We know how this goes. Bensalem hasn't had the greatest thing, so we really just pushing our guys to be the best they could be. All of the seniors, all of the juniors, a lot of people are stepping up that normally haven't stepped up. Like I'm not myself a very vocal leader, but this year I wanted to make sure that me, my teammates, and the younger guys are all locked in all season, focused on winning, focused on making the playoffs, and I think we've been doing that perfectly.
All right. Aidan, thanks for joining us. Keep running through those tacklers like they're paper. Insiders, that's the energy we're bringing into week 9. OG, what's on tap for this week's matchups?
All right, we got some great games this coming weekend, starting with Friday night. Pennsbury is heading to Abington. They're looking for their first win of the season. They are no doubt the best 0-8 team I've ever seen. They have great defense. They just can't put the ball across the end line. We'll see if they get their first win. CB East is traveling to Pennridge to play at Helmet Field Friday night at 7 o'clock. And Neshaminy is taking on the CB South Titans.
All right. Truman visits Cheltenham. Council Rock North heads to Souderton. And Springfield Township's limping into Warminster to face a hungry William Tennant team.
Next up, we got Wissahickon clashing with Hatboro Horsham in an American Conference showdown. Council Rock South faces Quakertown in a Continental Conference battle, and CB West takes on North Penn at Crawford Stadium in a National Conference heavyweight fight.
Yes, they are. And then my game of the week takes me on down 309 to Fort Washington, where the 4-4 Bensalem Owls, led by star runner, who we just heard from, Aidan Mayfield, facing off against Benji Rabbits, Justin Woe, and that 3-5 Upper Dublin Cardinals stingy defense. All right, both teams are scrapping for playoff positions in 6A and in 5A respectively. I definitely expect a trench war out there. Go ahead and make sure you guys are following all the action Friday night on my Instagram and my X for all the live updates as all that mayhem unfolds. Now, it's time, once again, for my favorite segment, OG's History Lesson. What you got for us, OG?
All right, the title of this week's history lesson is Boundaries and Championships, the Changing Landscape of Pennsylvania High School Football. The fall of 2008 marked a huge turning point in Pennsylvania high school athletics. That season, the Philadelphia Catholic League, known as the PCL, joined the PIAA. This move reshaped the competitive landscape, especially in football. Since then, 3 PCL schools have dominated the state championship. We all know who they are: St. Joe's Prep, LaSalle, and Archbishop Wood. St. Joe's Prep has been to the state finals 11 times in 17 years, winning 9 championships and been runner-up 2 times. Wood, who's fallen off of late, has claimed 6 titles, and LaSalle has just 1, but they're aiming for another one this year. These numbers speak volumes, but they also raise a question: what's driving that success? Historically, the debate centered around the terms boundary versus non-boundary schools. Public schools are bound by geographic lines, but private schools are not. Today, they talk about the conversation as application schools versus non-application schools. Public schools are non-application. If you live in the district, you're entitled to attend, but private, parochial, and charter schools require an application. Admission isn't guaranteed, but often tuition is involved. This distinction creates a competitive imbalance. Take the Suburban One League, for example. Our 24-member schools have fixed boundaries. Students live within those lines and in those neighborhoods. But schools like St. Joe's Prep and LaSalle and other PCL schools, they don't have to draw their lines. Prep, located in Girard Avenue in Philadelphia, fields their team with players from Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, and Philadelphia counties. And even last year, they had a kid from Lehigh County, plus New Jersey, Delaware, and sometimes even farther. So how's this allowed? The Act 219 of 1972, before OG was even born, states that private schools shall be permitted, if otherwise qualified, to be members of the PIAA. This short but powerful law opened the door for private schools to compete in the PIAA and their sanctioned events. It's been interpreted to mean that separate playoff systems for public and private schools are not permitted, though some lawmakers challenge that view. Now, football wasn't truly affected until 1988, when the PIAA began hosting state championships for football. The first large school champion was Pittsburgh Central Catholic, a Catholic school, obviously, in Pittsburgh. The real shift came in 2008, when the PCL joined the PIAA. Since then, the private schools have risen to the top, largely because they can recruit and select their players. This creates a really tough reality for hometown schools. They often lack the resources, the facilities, and the talent pool that application schools have access to. According to the state law, this is fair, but too many small towns, it doesn't seem very fair. The heart of high school sports is community, neighbors cheering for neighbors, local pride, and shared history. But when a school can build a team from across counties and states, the playing field tilts. And while the law may says it's equal, the scoreboard oftentimes tells a different story. So congrats to the great teams in Suburban One. Winning District 1 championship may just be the highest level of dominance that we will see until another classification is created by the PIAA to separate the 2 types of schools that we have in Pennsylvania.
We shall see. One last segment, OG, and ironically, you brought it up, so let's talk playoffs. 2 weeks left. What's the playoff picture for all our 24 Suburban One League teams looking like?
All right, well, first off, let's do a review of a previous history lesson. As you know, we're part of District 1, the PIAA, all Suburban 1 schools. It's split into 6 classifications, 5A and 6A. 16 teams qualify. In 3A and 4A, the top 4 qualify. And in 1A and 2A, 2 teams qualify from District 1.
All right, well, starting with our small schools, we only have one, and that's our only 2A school, New Hope Soulbury. They're 2-6, but right now they hold the 2nd seed in the playoffs, so they will be making the postseason. We don't have any 3A schools, so let's hit them up with that 4A.
All right, 4A, Lower Moreland, they're 5-3. They're currently the number 4 seed and would qualify for the playoffs. Springfield Township is 3-4. They're sitting at number 5 after dropping 4 straight due to a lot of key injuries. They may need a strong finish to punch their ticket. I
agree with you, man. I hope they heal up and they can win out so that they can get some postseason action in. In 5A, we have Wissahickon, Upper Moreland, Cheltenham, Upper Dublin, and Happer Horsham. Wissahickon's currently 7-1, is the number 5 seed. The team that they just went into overtime with, Upper Moreland, my old alma mater, sitting at 5-3, is the 12th seed after that overtime loss. And Cheltenham, 3-5, holds the number 15 seed right now. I guess that 6A win a few weeks back is definitely helping them on that one. Upper Dublin, 3-5. Same record. They need to win out, and they got a tough one. They got 6A Bensalem and Souderton if they hope to even sniff the playoffs this year.
In 6A, I think 7 teams are in, with 3 teams being on the bubble. Pennridge holds the number 1 seed despite their loss last week because Coatesville also lost to Downingtown East. North Penn, who's 6-2, is the 3 seed. They play this week. They play CB West, who's the 4 seed. So one of them will bump up and flip spots. Rock South is 7-1. They're the number 6 seed. Neshaminy is 6-2, the number 7 seed. Souderton 6-2 is number 8 seed. And CB East is teetering on a playoff line at 5-3. They're currently holding the 14 seed.
Man, should be interesting these next couple of weeks. And on the bubble, we have PW out of the American. They're currently 5-3 and undefeated in American play, looking to repeat as champions in that American conference. They are holding right there. They're so close to that number 17 seed. CB South 4-4, another 500 team sitting right there at number 18. And Quakertown, 4-4 as well. They are at the number 19 seed. They'll need some big wins to climb up into the top 16, those bubble teams right there. But we'll see what happens.
Just last year, we had a team or 2 that were below 500 that made the field of 16. So you never know how things are going to weigh out here in the end with the points that they get from teams that they've played, their power points, along with their wins points. But I think it's going to be a wild finish to the regular season.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for tuning in to All Things Suburban One Football, guys. Until next week's shenanigans, I'm Coach Mayhem.
And I'm OG. Insiders out.